Hey, welcome to Solar 101 for non-technical professionals. This is 1.1. My name is Emmitt Muckles with S.E Power Consulting. People call me Uncle M in the solar industry, or you just follow. Make sure you check out my podcast, What's Up Solar Podcast. And if you have something cool to share, hit me up. Let's talk about it. Let's share it with the public. Anyway, enough with that. Let's get to the to-dos. So what does solar panels, what do they actually do? So for instance, solar panels do a simple job, really simple. Solar panels' main job is just to convert the sunlight that hits them into electricity. And when I say electricity, there's two kinds of electricity that we mostly deal with. That's electricity in our homes and electricity for like our portable things and in our car. So the electricity that is produced by these solar panels when light hits them is called DC energy, kind of like a battery. So they're kind of like sun activated batteries. The analogy for this is imagine like a solar pump. Instead of it pumping water, it pumps it pumps that energy from the sun. So think about the sun just being saying boom, it's hitting the panel, boom, and electricity is flowing out. So it's just pumping away, it's pumping away. Now when it's dark, guess what? No electricity unless you have a whole lot of them and a really, really, really bright moon. I've seen that actually happen. So the things that they need to work, they need sunlight, they need a clean surface. So this is why it's important, and industries have cropped up for people who just clean solar panels, is because they get debris on them. They get leaves on them, they get dirt, they get pollen, they get dust, and it really degrades their output. And so to keep them functioning properly, you have to keep them clean, just like us. Keep us clean, we work properly. And then you have to connect them to a circuit. So this is why you see typically more than one solar panel together, and they connect to other things, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. So to get more power, we connect more of these together in what is called a circuit. And a circuit is just an electrical path that the energy can travel to that's predictable. Now, here's the composition of these. Solar cells, that's the little bitty things that they have. Things like this. Mine's dirty, but you see them everywhere. So within a big solar module, they take a bunch of these and put them together so they can get a predictable voltage output when the sun hits it. But you've probably seen things like this. You know, the little solar lights that light up at night. You notice when the sun goes down, and you're like, how does that light up? Well, those things have a battery in the back that help them to like store the energy in the daytime, use it at night. We're going to get to that later too, because that's similar to what they do with your home. So these solar cells, what they then do is they combine these and they make a solar panel. That's the big things that you see. They put them in a nice frame with some glass and some protective film so that these can last 25 years. And then we take those solar panels, those big solar panels, and we put them together to get a predictable output of a certain voltage and current, which is amperage. And we'll get into that. And that makes our solar array. Now, when it comes down to all of this, what happens inside the panel? When the sunlight hits the panel, each one, the tiny particles called electrons, they start to move across the things, and this is called an electrical current. Current, think of it like a river. So it starts to flow like water. So if I had these two together and I connected them together and I had them in the light, it would start with one side going from positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative. And then you could eventually hook it to something like a light bulb or an inverter, and then you would get it to light up. Or you could just store it in a battery like we saw here. Now, what the panel cannot do, these solar cells and modules cannot store energy. That is for batteries. That is for things like this on a small scale, the battery that's inside here. These do not power your home directly. Just because you see these on someone's roof, that does not mean that that is what's powering. What's happening is it has to be converted or inverted with a device called a solar inverter. We all need these. It's part of an ecosystem. So the solar panel is just the engine that starts to driving things. It's basically the gas. Now, here's some myths and facts. Solar won't work even on cloudy days. They work as long as there is illumination, but they produce way less. Way less. And this is why you have to keep your modules clean. You want it exposed to as much illumination or photons of light as possible. Myth number 2, solar panels are dirty and require constant cleaning. Boo! No, false. That's because we have this cool thing that nature gives us called rain, and it's this equilibrium that tends to clean things off. Now, that's not to say you don't have to clean your modules or panels, because things like bird poop, leaves, things like to sit on it and dry out. Every once in a while, you have to do a little maintenance on these things. Let's go to myth number 3. Solar panels are a fire hazard. Not if they're properly installed. If you have a reputable company that has a good track record and know their quality of installation, that manufacturers actually give you a standard to install to, this is not a problem. We've even gone so far in the industry to even mitigate that even further with safety measures and components that help to mitigate any instance or try its best to mitigate any instance of fire or arcing in that nature. That's what the NEC is for. That's the National Electric Code. A solar panel's core function is to capture sunlight and to turn it into usable electrical energy. Usable electrical energy. Depends on the application. For my little one light, this is fine. It won't run my house. I have to go to another setup for it to be usable for my home. Or if you've ever seen the things like EcoFlow, Anchor, Jackery, they have these solar generators that you can have a portable solar panel and connect to. You see, it's part of a circuit. It's not, they're not standalone. So I'd really like to know, imagine your roof has a tiny power plant on it. The solar panels capture sunlight and convert it directly into electricity that powers your home. It's like having your own clean energy source, reducing your reliance on the grid and potentially lowering your electricity bills. Just imagine it. See, we're in a different time right now, and different than even like 6 years ago. 6 years ago, you had a solar panel, you had an inverter that converted it for your usage in your home, and you had the grid, and they were all intertwined. If the grid went down, so did your solar panels. Well, somewhere around 2019, the battery backup got integrated with the system, and it's progressed a long way. It's almost in some cases where the grid is actually the backup. So think about these things. If you have any questions, you can reach me at, wait for it, Emmitt at sepowerconsulting.com.